So while you're looking, is it okay if I talk on some other stuff?
Yeah. Go for it.
All right. So the biggest question I've been asked is, what am I going to do? Am I still
Right.
going to honor the bet? I did a presser recently. It's still open. Questions are still welcome. And as of now, the best thing I can tell you is I'm not doing anything at the moment because I'm still under contract for season 4. Beezer Cap obviously, knows about all of this.
Mm-hmm.
And the Wraiths are kind of looking at free agency and deciding whether or not, we're going to keep enough pieces to still be a contender. If so, they want to keep me. And I get it. Obviously, I would love to be a part of a Wraiths team that fucking dethrone the Outlaws, and I think there's a very real chance of that happening next year.
Mm-hmm.
As for Season 5, I don't want either team to keep me for free. I don't want either team to lose me and get nothing.
Right.
Say again?
I said right.
I think the Wraiths, it's important to remember that while this may not seem likely now, remember that when the Season 2 draft rolled around, multiple teams had crossed me off the draft board completely. The Wraiths, even though they held a pick where they didn't expect to get me at all, Beezer Cap was still talking to me, still letting me know that he thought I was a good guy, that he still liked me, wished me success wherever I ended up. And, when he had the chance to draft me, there was zero fucking thought. He's shown me nothing but kindness and been a damn good friend when I had none on this site. And I can't act like no one else reached out to me and said anything positive. But the Wraiths were the only team that did.
Gotcha.
And from the moment I was brought into the Wraiths, we actually drafted someone who had said, yeah, I'm not sure if I want to be on the same team as him. And by the way, I'll say it, that person was Bork.
Okay.
He's changed his mind, obviously. We've worked together in the DSFL. We got along great. But he was very hesitant about playing with me. The Wraiths allowed me to become the person I am in this league. It is valid to say that I might have just given up on this league had it not been for the locker room I was brought into.
Okay.
Not just the activity and the fun, but like the fact that they no shit accepted me. I'm not just going to walk away on that.
No.
Because I feel like the Legion deserved me more.
Now, I will say, as far as that stuff goes, and before I get into this, Aenir, did I hear you try to say something there?
I was going to make a snide comment, but he was being heartfelt, so I withdraw it.
I appreciate it.
Okay. I am currently trying to propose a more effective RFA system into the NSFL. Whether or not it goes through, or what the details of it, I am not 100% sure of yet. But I'd like to make, because the one we have now is kind of a thing, but I'd like to make it more like what's in the NFL. So for those of you who don't know, the way it works in the NFL is if you have been in the league for more than 3 seasons, but less than 7, you are what's considered a restricted free agent. That does not force you to go into free agency. It just says that should you decline an extension with your own team, you then become a restricted free agent instead of an unrestricted free agent. So what we've had so far in the league is just 100% pure unrestricted free agency. Yeah. Nobody has done anything about it, which is why you see crazy trades happening from people trying to get rid of players mid-season to hopefully get something out of them, knowing that they're going to disappear at the end of the season. Yeah. Restricted free agency fixes this in a way. You get 4 options realistically. And actually, there's one option that the 4th option really pervades through. Basically, restricted free agents, your team always has the right of first refusal. Basically, they can counter your contract, or a contract offer from a different team with either matching it or bettering it. And then you get to make that call. But it basically always gives your team a chance to match, no matter what. The next option, but the other three options are either a first round tender, a second round tender, or an original round tender. A first round tender says that in order for another team to pick you up in free agency, if you have been first round tendered, they must give up, in addition to your new contract, their first round pick in the next draft. Second round tender does the same thing, and original round tender matches the round that you were originally drafted in. Now, this would obviously have to be changed somewhat. Now, it wouldn't have to be changed at all. You can put whatever tender on whatever player you want. Do as many of them as you want. The problem is, for you to place a tender on that player, you would...
it would higher salary.
Yeah, it costs you cap space. So, for us, we would be saying, well, in addition to... Basically, it's to put a first-round tender on a player, you have to earmark $3 million or $4 million, whatever we decide to. $3 million was just the number that I picked up because actually it's close to what it is in the NFL, but that way it actually has a significant impact. $3 million from your cap space goes towards this tender. And if they are not taken if they're not taken in free agency, if they end up re-signing with you, you still lose that $3 million. Now, to make it fair for the NSFL, because we don't have that much money to throw around, normally you put $3 million and that's it. That $3 million is gone, but he's got a first round tender. But for us, I'm throwing something out there of, if they do get traded, well, you got a first round pick, you got that first round pick, second round pick, whatever. I'm sticking with first round pick right now because I said that first. And you get your $3 million back because you placed the tender on him. Somebody else took advantage of it. We're not going to hit you for cap space as well as that, just because free agency would be a giant pain in the ass if you're out $3 million, even just for one player can have an effect. But, if you've got 3 or 4 players who are going away, who are top tier players who've decided they want to test free agency, that could cost you a little bit if you want to keep those.
I think I would still prefer the team to lose a token amount. Maybe not the full $3 million.
Right. No, you would still, and that's why I said it would be still in the works. I'm just my proposal has not gone through 100% yet, but I have explained what RFA is to the head office, because RFA is confusing for most football fans in general. So I broke it down to be simple as possible.
I think the scariest thing about RFA for me is there's 2 things. One, you do run the risk of a player always being stuck with the team. So I do think there should be a limit on how many times you can use it on a player.
Well, see, here's the good thing with that. The NFL says between 3 and 7 years. I think that's too long. I think either between 3 and 5 or between 3 and 6.
Or just say their first renegotiation after their rookie contract.
Well,
then you'll have people who will take 1 year just to get out of it.
Right.
So that's something that we could change as we implement RFAs.
So, but for right now, I like to stick with. So here's my thinking of why we keep it between, because your rookie contract can be a maximum of 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So RFA says from your rookie contract up through the maximum extension of your next contract, you are an RFA.
That's longer than 7 years.
No, it is not.
By the time I finish,
your maximum first extension can only be 3 years. You're not going to get to 800 TPE in 3 seasons.
You don't need 800 to do a 5-year.
Yes, you do. You need a 600. You need 600.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's possible to get 600.
Not for anybody but a quarterback. It's not.
You're forgetting folks like Bryce Boggs, like Dermot Lavelle, who basically played a free season before their rookie year. Lavelle
would take that into
500
account.
TPE, and he still has a full season left.
It has nothing to do with what season you got drafted in. If you played more than 6 games for a team, that counts as your first full season.
So that's a separate rule. Okay.
For RFA. For RFA
Oh.
in general. Yeah, obviously with the NFL, you only play from when you were drafted beyond. That, people don't pick up random free agents before, you can't pick up college players before they're drafted. So that's why it's just following the NFL's rule on it. A season counts, so it's not 6 seasons after being drafted, it's a season counts as your first, if you played 6 or
Basically, I'm saying don't rule out 600 because it's still possible that I'll hit 600.
It is, but I'm saying a player started the day of the draft, or even a week before that, and got their rookie stuff in.
Yeah.
There's almost no way for them to get to 600 TPE in 6 seasons. You get such a bump from the initial 50 and your rookie stuff that just doesn't sustain. Especially because you'll start maxing out your main stats by the end of your fifth. Like, I'm a cornerback, and I currently have maximum hands, almost maximum intelligence, and maximum speed for my character. I don't have maximum hands, but I have maximum speed, almost max hands, almost max intelligence, and I'm about to switch builds, which will change that, and I will eventually have max speed, max hands, and basically max intelligence at 400 some TPE.
Yeah,
so I can't buy equipment for those anymore because it's useless to me. Why would I buy my speed one? So like it starts capping out. Basically, since you start capping out, especially look at Jace Tuck. He's at how many TPE? I mean, he's close to 500 now, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's above it.
Basically maxed out his build. So he will get to 600 here in his 4th season. But he will not. So I guess I shouldn't say within 6 seasons you'll get there. But within 3, which is the time of your first extension, you cannot hit 600. Like, it's just not possible.
Again, it very much is. Had I joined, I think, 3 days earlier, I could actually end next season at 600.
But next season would be your 4th season in the league.
No. Next season is my 3rd season.
But next season is you played all in season 1, correct?
I didn't play a single game in season 1.
Really?
I joined 11 days before the draft.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they're really.
But you have already signed your extension. You've already signed your first extension.
No, I haven't.
You haven't?
No.
2, 3.
You heard it here live first. Sweetwater's plan shot the shit.
It's not shot to shit. It's not perfect, but I don't think you'll hit 600 by the end of next season.
That's fair. I might not.
I don't know that it's possible.
But I'm just saying,
the way TPE is given out in years, I don't know that it's possible to do.
But remember, a couple more predictions had been right. If I'd gotten milestones, so I had a shitty season stats.
You'd have maybe 10 more TPE.
Honestly, that could be the difference.
You think you're going to get 200 TPE in the next season?
I don't need 200. I'm already at 430, I think.
I mean, your roster page shows you at 400, so I guess your next update.
Yeah, remember, because our team didn't make the playoffs, I haven't been updated yet.
Oh, right. Okay. So 430, so you're going to get 170 TPE. I guess you'll get 10 from Ultimus.
Yep.
You'll get
basically 185, I think, is the max. Like if you nail every prediction, every milestone, blah blah blah. I think Baller said 185 is the max you can get.
Okay.
So I think I can get 170. Like
I think you will max out on TPE that you can get from.
I can promise you that I won't.
From gear.
I promise you I won't if you look at my build.
Okay. Are you planning? Okay, I guess if you don't pump stats into your important stats.
I don't. I like the idea of just being a hybrid player, so that's.
Okay, so if you're not Cushing, and you put stats into the glamour stats that get you the stuff, then it is much harder to hit 600 TPE.
Agreed.
I still don't.
Bear in mind, I'll take it one step further and say for some positions it's easier than others.
Yes, it definitely is. Quarterback
for O linemen, for man-to-man corners,
Mm-hmm.
Speed receivers, it takes a lot longer because the stuff that
Yes,
they
it
want
does.
to max is really hard to cap. So
Right.
for
defensive
you
tackles
cap
and defensive
insanely
ends,
fast.
yeah. Defensive tackles and defensive ends are basically capped at 500 TPE.
Yeah. No,
And
you're right.
With that, looking at that, but anyway, yeah, sure. Okay, so you might, there's a chance you could hit max TPE or 600 TPE by your next thing. And then that's the full range for the minimum for a 5-year contract.
So yeah, I mean,
I guess
it's just a troubleshooting thing.
I guess the difference is, okay, so you can sign a 5-year contract, then it doesn't matter because you've extended. So you don't.
I'm okay with that not applying. I mean, I think if a team gets 8 years out of you and loses you,
right? But after 8 years, you'd be a total free agent, so it doesn't matter.
Okay.
You're unrestricted. That's how RFA works. That's what I'm saying. So if you're no longer an RFA, you become unrestricted after your sixth season playing in the league.
Okay.
Which means that right as you're hitting prime TPE, technically a season before regression, and if you're an S2 player who started in the beginning of S1, or if you started playing a thing behind, you've got 2 years until regression starts. Teams are getting you for a year or two of prime stuff and hopefully banked TPE for your regression. So they get an elite player at the top of their TPE.
Honestly, we could probably do another podcast on regression because as you've said, you can cap so easy that basically you're going to be banking TPE for regression for a few seasons.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But that's a double-edged sword.
It is.
Because you lose 15% of your total TPE on that first year.
And it's only 5% the first year.
What? It's only 5?
Yeah, it's
okay. But I mean, still 5% can be a big chunk if you've got 1,000. Obviously, you can remove it from non-essential skills first, but it starts being harder and harder to keep up. But regardless, that's the whole point of RFA. You really only tendered through your first extension.
Yeah.
So if you hit 600 TPE, obviously teams are going to be willing to pay out the ass for you, and they can, they put that tender on you and they say, hey, you can give him a 5-year contract. He has 600 TPE at the end of 3 seasons. He's obviously very, very, very fucking active. We want at least that first round pick for him because that's a huge deal. You're taking away a key member of our team.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. Like, if you sign a 5-year extension at the end of 3 years, I don't think if you sign 5 years with another team, good on you, I guess. I don't know. That means you've done really well. But yeah, it really doesn't interfere with a ton of stuff. If your first extension lasts long, free agency, you're fine. But if you sign a 3-year contract and then a 2-year extension, you've got that 5th year. You've still got some good time in you left. You're about to hit a 5-year contract. A team's going to lose you for a while.
Okay. I get the logic.
Yeah, I guess we were arguing over nothing, but I can see why you were concerned with what you were. But it's, like I said, it's still way in the works. It's really only been acknowledged kind of by the head office. I would like to see it come into play because it adds a little more parity to the league so that you're not just fire sailing. You don't have the same fire sale that you had with the Yeti. You know what I mean?
Right.
You got them giving away people for almost literally nothing. Inactive players and useless picks. In some cases.
Yeah.
They took some 5th round picks for players.
And there's not even going to be a 5th round this year.
There's not going to be a 5th round, so useless picks. It prevents that situation. They can just start throwing tenders on people, and get something for that at the end when they're going to walk no matter what. And get to keep that player till the end of the year instead of get rid of them at the beginning.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
It has value. I'm not against the concept. I was just
right. We obviously would need to iron out the details, but I hate seeing teams like the Yeti and like my own team where we had to fire sale some people get fucked. And RFA,
you may not like Abandoned on one of those deals, but
we may not like the what?
May not like Abandoned. Deal, yeah. I would say you weren't the ones who.
The Smallwood one was great. I'm okay with the Smallwood one, but regardless, it's one of those things of. I mean, I'm fine with that, and if you could, teams are still free to make trades before that happens. If they don't, if they would rather not spend the money and see if they can get something from it, they're totally free to do that. It doesn't really change much except to allow a team that doesn't want to fire sale to not have to fire sale.
Somewhat speaking of which, would it be all right if I went back to the bet real quick?
Yeah, sure.
So I talked about how I felt about the rates and why I didn't want to just up and leave them.
Mm-hmm.
But the counterpart to that was my feelings on the Legion.
Oh, sure.
So obviously RFFO was happy to rub it in when they won a game, and and I don't blame them for that. But the majority of the Legion reached out and was like, man, I hope we win because I would love for you to come and play with us. And naturally I was touched by that as well.
Sure.
I do feel that they worked their ass off. I do feel that they put the effort in to show that, they could do more.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to see them get left with nothing as a result. So just like I don't want to leave the race, without the bet properly being won, and I don't want to just leave the Legion shafted. The best thing I can say right now is I'm trying to propose something. I haven't gone formal with it yet. But between Beezer Cap and Ben, to work out a deal come season 5 where either I stay with the Wraiths and the Legion are just given a season 5 draft pick, which is a nice draft class, or I go to the Legion and the Legion give the Wraiths a draft pick. That way something happens. No matter what, the Legion get a little bit better. But the Wraiths only get a little bit worse,
Sure.
And I know it's not ideal, but it's really the best compromise that I can come up with.
Yeah, and that will probably have to be worked out through the head office as well. Because you can't just gift draft picks, obviously. And other logistical things. I would also recommend that as you go into free agency, you make very public your offers from both of those teams at the very least.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to just play them against each other, but the league would like to know that, because technically if you were to, so obviously there are extenuating circumstances, but if you were to go to the Legion at the end of your free agency, it could still technically be seen as tampering. Very, very light.
In this case, based on what Hawk says, I don't think it would be.
Okay.
He made it clear in the announcement that I was free to go to the Legion.
Okay.
I think basically they're giving this one a little bit more.
Sure. As we should, because like I said, I wasn't involved in the decision, so I really, really quickly glossed over the thread of the announcement thread, because I already knew what the punishment was in the HO thread. I just didn't see whatever else. But I can understand saying, okay, well, this is just a thing, but I would still, on your end, err on the side of caution a little bit, because if you were to just up and immediately say, well, I got an offer from the Legion that I couldn't refuse, is only slightly sketchy to me.
Right. Well, that's why I'm working this with Beezer Cap, or like I said,
Right.
will be once the off season starts.
Sure.
Because and being completely transparent, like I said, I posted this proposal in the presser. Not with
Right.
exact draft picks because I just haven't gotten that far.
No.
But I do want the Legion to know that they did work their ass off. They did kick ass, and they're not going to get nothing.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the fairest way I can handle this. I'm going to be open about the entire process as I can be.
Right. It's just a weird thing, and part of the reason, one of the other big reasons the trade was denied was because it's literally not possible to do in real life. You can't
No.
bet players. Like, that's just not a thing that...
But to be fair, neither are a lot of the user bets. I mean...
Well, yes, but those... you'd be amazed at what you can pull off in Vegas or with any book.
Yeah.
Obviously, players aren't legally allowed to bet, but we're, in this case, separating the player from the user kind of thing. Because you have to. At the end of the day, you do have to separate those two out because they are two separate entities, technically. But yes, obviously some of the bets are weird. But GMs can't bet players against each other, and it was just a weird thing. But
it was. But I guess
it was funny.
The plea was, this having gone on for so long, I guess I'm just asking for a little bit of trust. Like, we both know that this was done for fun.
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't think anyone really believes, man, I hate being on this good team that has a chance of being a contender and it fucking treated me great. I want to go to this team that can't fucking win. Like,
right.
And the fact that we did allow their hopes to get up, even if that wasn't on the current head office.
Right. No, absolutely. No,
I do think that there is a bit of a moral obligation to allow some type of compromise.
Yes, I would agree with you there. It's such a weird situation that it's almost impossible to say what the right thing to do is here.
Yeah. And again, quick plug again for the presser. I go into a lot of detail about the bet, the ruling, my thoughts on what the right thing is. Everyone's welcome to weigh in. You've seen I'm not going to back down from any question on it. I really do want to do the right thing, and if someone has a perspective that I haven't hit, please throw it at me.
I think it's fine what you're going for. I mean, for whatever reason, I think part of yes, they disallowed it, but the fact that it stayed for so long, for reasons that have been mentioned. If you want to honor it your way, go right ahead.
Yeah, I like I said, I would make sure you clear it with HO first. Make sure Berserkap clears it with HO first. Just to be on the up and up, so you don't end up doing something that we're like, no, don't do that.
You run it by all the hoes first.
Yeah, all the hoes.
I'm too white to be saying that.
No, you're not. You're fine.
So we discussed play-by-play.
Yeah, we kind of left you out of the conversation there for a little bit.
That's fine.
Sorry about that.
No, I was saying, I took the mic for a while when I was talking about play-by-play. So I mean, we're just spreading it around.
Well, we have
a little bit of time left.
Yeah. No,
we're actually well over the hour, so at this point we are just doing it for shits and giggles.
No, we are not. We're splitting it into 2 parts.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, why not? Money.
Oh, I forgot the other thing we were going to discuss. Upcoming free agency.
Oh, yeah, that's huge. Yeah, and we just talked about Cushing is going to be, we talked about all this free agency stuff, RFA, all that kind of stuff. What we didn't talk about was all the crazy stuff that's going into free agency. Oh my God.
Definitely.
The good news is somebody did a very nice thing and posted an entire sorry, I'm clicking on this as I get there. An entire free agent list here for me that I can look through.
Ooh.
Very nice.
Yes. So, without further ado, I will list through all of them really quick, and then we'll pick out a couple of them that seem really freaking interesting. There's a lot that, you know what, we could probably spend another 2 hours on this, but fuck it, let's go for it. All right, so we have coming up into free agency, Jalen Lee, linebacker, Felipe Carter, cornerback, Pat Pancake, O-line, Stormblessed, wide receiver, Kendrick Hendricks, wide receiver, Ben Longshaw, O-line, Jean Finken Larkin, O-line, Biscuitine Crocker, defensive end, Mike McDoodle, safety, Shaterick Marks, defensive tackle, Stanislaw Maddox, CB, Brady Stropko, linebacker, Sinjin Flynn Jollywop, linebacker, Leon Morgan, quarterback, Tim Tebow, O-line, Gabe Tenzini, tight end, Rolf Larsendorf, tight end, Tyler Grant, cornerback, Devin Speed, safety, Brandon Walsh, kicker, Vince Lockhew, defensive end, Ash Saginaw, defensive tackle, Bradley Westfield, wide receiver, Mike Boss, quarterback, Gregor Clegane, O-line, Mark Spector, cornerback, Edemele Thompson, defensive end, Ragnar Cronin, safety, J.J. Raines, defensive tackle, Taberka Shaw Ferguson, offensive line, Bradley T, O-line, Vikian Marveladov, safety, Greg Taylor, defensive end, Vincent Sharpay, offensive line, Mayron Jackson, wide receiver, Ja Brill, safety, Brake Bottles, tight end, Alexander Selich, linebacker, Xavier Newmans, cornerback, Josh Cameron, defensive tackle, Enchilada Charlton, defensive end, Chris Rose, quarterback, Wyatt Fulton, linebacker, Jogan Flaugherty, O-line, Alex Hansen, safety, and DJ Law, wide receiver. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46 free agents.
Holy crap.
Well, to be fair, a overwhelming majority of those are inactives who are complete non-factors.
Yes, so that gets rid of a lot of them. Xavier Newman, Enchilada Charlton, Brake Bottles, the big ones that it gets rid of, ironically.
There's still a lot of huge ones, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, but like it gets rid of, you hear Ben Longshaw's going up for free agency, but at the same time he's inactive. And same with like Alexander Selich.
Or Stormblessed, yeah.
Or Stormblessed. That's a big one too. Yeah.
I have a question about that. For inactives like Stormblessed or something, how does the free agency work? Does he just automatically take the highest value contract?
Negative. Although, let me just say, not a bad idea for a rule change.
Interesting one.
I think an inactive auction,
that'd be fun.
Maybe we have a date that free agency officially ends on, and after that date, everyone who's inactive and hasn't signed just goes to a flat auction. Obviously not this off season because that would be weird.
I
think that is a great fucking idea.
Just live on Twitch, pull up a player. They're like, all right, start the bidding.
Yeah. Because, I mean, think about it. Stormblessed, for someone like the Yeti who need a weapon,
Yeah.
Man, an inactive could go for tons. Or for cornerback, imagine O'Sullivan next season.
I'm more thinking along the lines of the fact that he's inactive and he's going to be the first player in the league to play for every freaking team.
Yeah. Well, so to actually answer your question, sorry, that was such a good fucking idea that it warranted consideration. The current answer is the team that has him can just choose to automatically re-sign him for the vet minimum.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why if you have a player who's barely active, in fact, I'm going to call someone out. Levon Noville. We traded him to the Yeti. This was the last year of his contract. But he wanted money. Meanwhile, we could just get someone who would be an automatic re-sign.
Right.
Similarly, like DJ Law and Damian West, very comparable in TPE. DJ Law, automatic $1 million re-sign. Damian West, he ended up costing them $3 million.
Wow.
So I mean, so inactives in a certain way almost become more valuable than actives unless they're actually active.
Right.
But let me just say the auction idea, fucking gold.
Yeah, that's awesome. That may be brought up to the head office here soon. So let's talk about some of the biggest names here. Starting at the top of the list, Jalen Lee, linebacker.
Very interesting in the fact that we know it's not. We've ruled out one team, and that's his current one.
Yeah.
I would say San Jose. Obviously, I don't know how they feel about him personality-wise or anything like that. But if there's any team that really needs to make a play for a linebacker and has the money.
Yeah. As soon as I saw that, brought that up to my team. But I am not the one in charge. We'll see what's happening there.
Okay, next.
Okay, sorry. Next is Felipe Carter, who is
Every team.
Every team.
So Carter is now an interesting one. So obviously you know the strengths and weaknesses of a zone CB.
Right.
But I believe that in TPE, Carter is a top 3.
Yeah.
I think zone CB is the best ball hawking safety build you can get.
Theoretically, yes.
So I think this is a player where if she's not married to actually playing CB and is willing to play free safety, man, would Arizona be great moving her and maybe. By the way, did you say Hayden?
No.
Isn't Hayden a free agent?
I don't see him on my list, but that doesn't mean he's not.
Okay. Obviously, they've got Carter as a CB right now, but if they were able to pull in a different CB and move Carter to free safety, that would be amazing.
Carter cannot position change at the end by the time she.
No. I'm not talking about a position change. I'm talking about
just let her run around as a free safety.
Yeah, I think that zone CB is perfect for running in and getting interceptions.
Okay, that's an interesting one.
Because if you look, no DB archetype has a higher intelligence and hands combo.
That's fair. Yeah, so any team could really make use of her. I don't believe that the Sabercats will make a play on her, and I don't know that the Wraiths would, unless you disappear.
Honestly, I think with me now being a question mark, also
go for it and then just trade you.
Also, we do have openings in our secondary. If Carter wanted
Put
to play
her in at free
quarterback,
safety?
I could move to safety because I am an all-round. So I think as a rep for the Wraiths, like we'd probably be interested.
Okay.
I gotta say this though, Cushing, you can't move to safety. I don't think you could play.
Again, not a position change. I just mean with my build, I could play at safety.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I found it very interesting. Our defense, we have a couple of different players who built a generalist build that they can play anywhere. You and Hanson. So it's like based on defensive mismatches, you can bounce them around. So
exactly, and having Carter would not only give us 3 of the top 4 cornerbacks in the league, I think, but they would all 3 be different archetypes, which
you'd have Dermot,
scare the shit
Carter,
out of offenses.
You, and then I'm the other one in that top 4, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't you think highly of yourself?
I know how many TPE I have. I'm the number 3 right now.
Well, maybe he was thinking of someone else. Maybe he was thinking of the potential.
I was just referring to TPE because which cornerback is the best is going to depend on what type of receiver you're up against.
It's me. I'm the best.
Like right now, I think Delacour is the fastest. So if you're talking about trying to cover Bradley Westfield, he's probably the number 1 CB. If you're talking about trying to cover, say, Phelps or Smallwood, it's probably me.
Maybe. I don't know. I just know Dermott got beat a lot this year.
Yeah.
And that was unfortunate for him.
But yeah, I would say the Wraiths are very interested in Carter because, as you said as well, we have so many ways that we can shift around and make a new player work.
All right, let's look at our next big name on here. Which
All right.
I believe
Pancake?
is Pancake still super active?
I know he was toward the start of the season. I don't know if he's held on to that. I feel like I'm not seeing him
My next big name, and I mean big name,
big.
Mike
Yeah.
Boss.
Yep. So Boss is a huge name, but also somewhat mitigated by the fact that there's two other quarterbacks that are available as well.
The other one other than Rose.
Hunt, right?
Hunt?
Yeah, your guy's
Hunt.
quarterback.
Hunt is available, that's true. I don't think he's a big name quarterback, though.
By the way, nice one, man.
What?
You know, your quarterback.
I said big name quarterbacks.
Hunt's a borderline because, yeah.
Hunt will have a week of being one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and he will follow it up with making fucking Pierno look like Mike Boss.
So he's
that's
the Rex
legit.
Grossman of this league.
In many ways. I likened him to
He's
Jay Cutler.
kind of Farvish.
Yeah.
He's either gonna win you the game or he's gonna throw 1,000 goddamn picks.
Is he addicted to painkillers?
Probably.
Yeah, with Boss, I mean, I don't know what he wants, and that's the biggest thing. Like right now, he's on a top offense. You know, he's got Westfield and Phelps. Like that's a tough act to follow. I want to say someone mentioned him going to the Yeti.
That'd be an interesting one because they get Logan Noble.
Yeah, I think that was Noble going to linebacker. I think was the thoughts.
Yeah. So
Really?
here's the thing: Noble said he's not going linebacker. He was talking about it. I want to say in Discord, he's like, you know, I can only shift half of my TPE, so I could go like safety, I could go receiver, but something
You can actually shift 3/4 of your TPE through some shenanigans, but legal
Okay.
shenanigans. If you think about it. Because what you do is you find a position that you want to play. You make the position change, but to an archetype you don't want to play. And then you swap archetypes.
Oh, okay.
So you're paying
I
$8
didn't know that
million.
you can do both.
Yeah, you can do a position change and an archetype change.
Oh, that's weird.
At least I'm pretty sure you can. I don't see why you couldn't.
I thought it was one or the other, but I could be wrong. At any rate, I'm just going off what Noble said. He was looking at either staying anything on offense where he wouldn't have to worry about tackling, or playing something like safety. So don't get me wrong, I believe he'll change to something useful, but at any rate,
so sorry.
my point is if Boss
Go for
went
it.
to the Yeti, he would be
Mhm.
taking a serious downgrade in blocking and receivers.
Oh yeah,
And
he's
for
gonna get
someone who's
murdered.
already had to go through a portion of his career where, despite being great, he had a shitty stat line, I don't think he'd want to go back to that.
I think he could land on the Sabercats and be pretty all right.
Yeah.
If we re-sign what's his face? I know it because I'm seeing it right here. Marin Jackson.
Yeah.
But Mike Boss is really one of the wild cards. And the other option is Chris O'Rose, who I think would be great on the Sabercats.
Who's
as well.
that?
That would be you. You're the other big name in this free agency, and God only knows what we'll see come for you. I'm feeling a
And
lot of
obviously,
money.
that's one that's getting some attention because of another huge free agent, Sharpay.
Yeah. Sharpay is a huge free, and especially as arguably one of the most active O linemen, and the highest TPE O lineman to hit free agency.
Yeah.
And to also add that in, he is a season 2 player, so he'll have an additional season without progression.
So, scale of 1 to 10, how big a package deal is that?
To get both Sharpay
to be
and
with Sharpay
Oros?
next year.
Say that one more time.
To be with Sharpay. It's a question for Aenir, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, could you repeat the question? I thought you were asking.
No worries. How big a priority is it for you to be on the same team as him next year?
Pretty big. I'd say between 7 or 8.
Okay.
I mean, theoretically, if something came along, I'm not against it, but as I've said multiple times in the past, maybe not on this podcast, but overall, I want to be on the team with him because the only other time that was an option, the league folded 6 weeks in and we were 6-0. So I want to play a game with him and see how it, or play a season with him, be on the team with him, see how it goes.
Understandable. I mean, also, like, there's the less than sentimental aspect of, as Sweetwater said, he's a great left tackle. Like, why wouldn't a quarterback want to be on the same team as him?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I have a holdout hope that we can re-sign Sharpay and sign Chris Oros and become a terrifying team this next season.
Yeah, with Bailey having a year to get burned less, I think you could have a much better team next year.
Yeah. Bailey's been pumping the speed, so he will not be run by quite so easily anymore.
But in regard to keeping Jackson, obviously, I know you guys went out of your way to keep Jackson happy in terms of making him the focus of the offense.
Yes, we did.
Weston seems happy because there was still plenty left for him. He had, in fact, I think possibly his best year, wasn't it?
Yep.
I think that leaves one person left.
Smallwood?
Yeah, how is he feeling in this role?
He's fine with it. He enjoys his role. He likes being the slot guy, honestly.
Okay.
He is a team first guy. He
very much is.
Very glad we picked him up.
If I may jump something, of course he's a team first guy. The question is it your team first?
Oh. Well, I'm sure he'll hit free agency at some point here, and we'll see what happens. But he, as far as I know right now, upgrading the quarterback immediately makes all the wide receivers happier.
Yeah.
Like
that is a fair point.
And I don't know that Hunt isn't. I thought Hunt was re-signed to a 1-year contract through season 4.
I mean, he's your guy. I'll trust you if that's the case. I just didn't know that.
I will check.
Oh, you know what? He did sign an extension last year.
Yes, he did. I will look at the contract.
Because I remember he signed the extension and then he had like his first bad game of the season.
Yep.
And to his credit, like he actually came in and made a pretty good joke about it. So good on him.
No, Ethan Hunt is only signed through S3.
Okay, so it was just a 1-year deal.
Yep. So, yeah, if we could re-sign, honestly, our best fucking option is to re-sign Sharpay, hope that provides the impetus for Oros to come to here, and then hope that provides the impetus for Jackson to stay around.
I also want to throw in something else. Alex Hansen.
Yeah.
Yep.
I am Buford's uncle, so he may be joining us as well wherever we sign.
Oh wow! I genuinely didn't know that.
I totally forgot about that.
I'm not sure what's going on there. It might happen, it might not, but yeah.
The interesting thing, though, is our secondary is pretty fucking solid. We might plug him in at a linebacker because that seems to fucking work.
So I don't. Yeah, I hate it.
Brain.
You know what I hate more than that, though, is that plugging in an offensive lineman at defensive tackle.
Yeah, that is also rage-worthy. But so the reason I hate it for your team is because you have two safeties that actually are built to be hybrid linebackers.
Yeah.
And yet, the best linebacker option for you is the least linebacker-ish safety on your roster.
Yeah.
And again, like, that's not your fault. Like, it's one of those things that, like, makes you hate the sim and die a little.
Yeah. Well, from what I understand, we're looking into swapping into 2018 over this offseason.
Yeah, like I said, I don't want to delve into that too much. It's just...
Right. No, there's a lot of things about this sim that don't make any goddamn sense at all.
Like all of it.
Like, why do we run cornerback blitzes so often? Why are there no Hail Marys? Why?
As far as the cornerback blitz goes, as soon as the offseason hits,
Time is removing it?
No, I don't know if he's removing it, but he did say when he was looking at it, he was going to look into switching, because like if you're looking at it text, it'll say like, that safety switching it, so the safeties cover the deep zone, so they don't have to run as far.
Yeah, I remember that being mentioned. Yeah.
There's a lot of options, but